If you're somebody that pays rent, then you understand that the cost of living has been absolutely outrageous. So today we're going to talk about a credit card that Wells Fargo is literally losing money on, which I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. I don't care. And hopefully this card will help to mitigate some of the damage that rent is doing on your monthly income. Or at least maybe make you feel a little bit better. Just a tiny bit. First, I want to start off with just how bad the situation is at the moment for cost of living. The typical rent to income ratio in 1999 was 22.5%. In 2020, the rent to income ratio was 25.7%. In 21, it was 28.5%. And now it is at 30%. And the way you find your rent to income ratio is you take your monthly rent and then you divide it by your monthly income. The average monthly income after taxes is about $4,500 a month. And the average rent cost is about $1,372 a month. So if you take $1,372 and you divide it by $4,500, that leaves you with 30.5%. And a little fun fact for you, households that spend at least 30% of their income on monthly rent or mortgage payments are considered cost burden by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We could go on and on about the insane cost of living, but let's get to the Bilt MasterCard. This card isn't going to solve the problem entirely, but there is certainly value to be had here. The thing that sets the Bilt MasterCard apart from all other credit cards in the industry is the fact that you can earn 1x points on monthly rent payments up to 100,000 points per year. Now this is a very niche feature, which like I said is what sets it apart, and that's why Wells Fargo is losing money, is because people are taking advantage of this in droves. Not only do you get points on rent, but you also get 2x on travel and 3x on dining, 1x on all other purchases, but you have to use this card at least 5 times each statement period. This could be as simple as going to the grocery store and just picking out 5 different things and making 5 small charges, or maybe putting some of your streaming services on your card. It also has a $0 annual fee, which is the only reason this card can really work as well as it does. On top of this, you can get double points on the first of each month, so that's 6x on dining, 4x on travel, and 2x on all other purchases. However, this does exclude rent, which makes sense. I know my rent is paid on the first of each month and I'd get that 2x every time. So on the first of each month, that's when you should plan your date nights, and you should use this card when you go out to have a nice meal. Now, one thing that you may be worried about, and I know that this is my case personally, is that if you pay through an online portal, they may charge you for using a credit card or a debit card, and that would essentially make this card obsolete. However, Bilt will provide you with an account so that you don't have to pay these transaction fees. That's great, but what if you pay rent with a check? Don't worry, Bilt has this covered too. You will essentially pay them and they will send a check on your behalf, which is crazy. I can see how they're losing money on this card. I mean, it's just they're going out of their way for you, really. Now you may be asking, what can I do with all these points that I'm earning? Well, I've got great news for you. Bilt points are ranked as some of the most valuable reward points, even above Chase and Amex points. Now, of course, this could be somewhat subjective based on what kind of transfer partners that you're looking for, but Bilt does have an extensive and impressive list. I will put Bilt's travel partners up on the screen. Like I said, reward points are a little bit subjective based on the fact that you may find one transfer partner more valuable than the next person. And if you're paying rent and get this card, I'm sure you can find value in at least one of these partners. Now, getting into some additional benefits and features, if you pay your monthly cell phone bill with this card, you'll get up to $800 in covered damage or theft. And purchases made with this card can be covered for theft or damage for up to 90 days, up to $10,000 per claim. It has an auto rental collision damage waiver, trip delay reimbursement, and trip cancellation and interruption protection. So it comes with some neat benefits, and there are some more features, but the main point of getting this card is getting those points on that rent. And if you're like me, you'd like to get at least some sort of value out of each purchase that you make or expense. And there's a credit card out there for basically every purchase you could make, and rent was not one of those until this card came around. Like I said in my previous video, if you're the average consumer, then you want to take advantage of every opportunity that you can get your hands on. This card is one of those great opportunities. From what it sounds like, the new Wells Fargo CEO wants to get into the credit card game, and partnering with Bilt was one of its ways of getting in with the younger generation. They thought that these young customers who are renting with this card would eventually come to Wells Fargo for mortgages. And boy, could they not be more wrong. And we've definitely seen Wells Fargo trying to get into the credit card game come to fruition recently with some of their newer cards that they've come out with. If they continue to add some transfer partners like the Bilt MasterCard has, they could really be a competitor in this space. So here's a video where I recently covered their no annual fee autograph card. Anyways, let me know if you guys are getting this card down in the comments section, and I hope to provide more value to you guys in the future. Am I gonna keep sniffing, dude? What's wrong with me?